So the question is, how can we make this process that's represented by this diagram habitual and institutionalized? And this process is working toward a challenge. Again, that's the first foundational value of the Total Way, and doing it systematically through the Kaizen process and pursuing it by breaking it down to successive concrete target conditions. So we have a vision, and the vision is way out there. Then we turn that into a 1 to 3 year challenge. Then we're going to set successive short-term target conditions. I want the process to look like this in order to get this result. And then we're going to iterate. We're going to try things until we reach the target condition. Then we'll set the next one and the next one and the next one. And over time, we'll meet the challenge. The improvement kata and coaching kata are designed to be used with a coach, and they provide a structured routine. And it starts with the direction. You might have learned about defining the problem. And what Mike is emphasizing is you have to really understand the direction. And the direction has to be in the form of a challenge, something that's a stretch. And there has to be a reason for it. You have to understand why. When you understand where you're going, then you have to understand where you're starting from. Just like any journey, it's great on a map to know where you want to get to when you get to Germany and you want to get to a small village, but it doesn't help if you don't know where you are. So you have to know where you are, and that means grasping the current condition. And you'll hear that a lot in Toyota, trying to understand the current condition. And understanding the current condition means that I want to know the facts. It's not enough just to look at statistics, which give you a summary or a big picture view or an indicator. You have to go and see yourself, go to the Gemba and see and understand the real facts of the situation. So now you're grounded, now you know where you are, you have a direction, but the direction is way out there. And you want to know, where do I make my first left or right turn? And the map isn't that detailed. It doesn't tell you that because this is uncharted territory. So you're going to have to kind of feel your way along. And the way you do that is by establishing your first target condition. I want to get half a mile. I want to get a mile. And the more experienced you are, the longer that first step can be. So it could be a 3-month target condition if you're very experienced. But if you're not very experienced, it's usually better to fail fast and often, which means set a 2-week is usually a recommendation, a 2-week target condition. Where do I expect to be in 2 weeks? And I'm going to commit to that. And then I'm going to identify the obstacles between me and that 2-week target condition. And it's a target condition. So it could be an outcome, like a reduction in quality defects, but it's better if it's a pattern. We want people to very easily be able to pick the right part and not pick the wrong part. And what is the target condition? How can you define it in a way that I can come and see and observe and tell whether you have, yes, achieved it or no, not achieved it? And then the way I'm going to move to that target condition is not going to necessarily be with one brilliant idea that has to be right, but rather with experiments, with plan, do, check, act. So I'm going to try things and test to see if I get closer to the target condition. If I only have 2 weeks, those experiments better be real simple and fast. If I have to order a piece of equipment that's going to take 2 months to get here and a month to install, by then there's over a dozen target conditions that I could have worked to try to achieve. So by definition, I'm going to rule out big changes that are going to require a lot of time. I'm going to start with small changes. Now remember, this is the learning process for beginners, and beginners doesn't necessarily mean you've never solved the problem before, but you don't have the habit and routine of following this process. You're not doing this automatically on a daily basis. When you're given an assignment, you don't automatically ask, what is the challenge? What is the current condition? Let's go and see. What's my first target condition? What's my first step? And how can I try some experiments to get there? You don't people often don't think that way. They immediately start thinking of solutions. So we're trying to break a habit by replacing it with a better set of habits.